It's been quite a while since we last visited the East, and this time, curiously, marks the first time I'm actually making a video about a topic where the Romans don't take part in yet. First of all, let's introduce the man in the title, a man whose origins are incredibly hard to trace and whose end is so stupid, so futile, and so unnecessary that writing this makes me think that why couldn't he be a made-up person, a piece of propaganda created by the Sasanians? I'm getting too far ahead of the story, so let's backtrack a little bit. The man in question is Anak, the Parthian. Sadly, as I said before, it's pretty tough to actually find reputable sources and not directly rip off all my video from Wikipedia. However, most of the sources I tried using, which are the ones cited in Wikipedia itself, are inaccessible for myself, so we'll have to work with what we have. The whole concept of the event that took place in 252, this is, the second year of the reign of Trebonianus Gallus, was that Anak, a member of the Armenian royal family, was staying with the Sasanians, possibly living in exile, when he was incited by the Shahanshah Shapur I to reign in arms against Khosrow II of Armenia, an Arsacid. The thing is, Armenia is the only remaining kingdom that still directly borders the Sasanians that remains firmly independent. Of course, if we exclude the Roman Empire. Other realms in the East act as puppet states and vassals, and even though Armenia, as pictured in the map, is still something of a client state of sorts of the Roman Empire, and it used to act as a buffer state for the Parthians, when the empire was a thing, following the collapse in the late 220s, Tiridates II, king of Armenia at the time, successfully managed to secure a strong independent Armenia. The first clashes between Ardashir, Shapur's father and first leader of Persia, and Tiridates, circa 226 to 228, ended up in a stalemate, with the Sasanian armies being constantly routed in the mountainous area of Armenia. Even after 228, when Tiridates' allies, the many nomads of the region, abandoned the fight, he proved to be too much of a fight for Ardashir, signing a peace treaty and abandoning completely any attempts to control Armenia for 20 years. Currently, with both Ardashir and Tiridates dead, it is their children who get to fight it out in the Zagrosias mountains, with many men freezing to death as a consequence. However, much like his father before, Khosrow II proved to be a renowned military man, not letting the Sasanians get to Bagarshapad, their capital. Enter Anak the Parthian. As I mentioned, Anak was a minor nobleman of Armenia, quite possibly, although definitely not proven, related to the royal family. Staying in Ctesiphon, he was convinced by Shapur that actually going to Armenia and personally murdering Khosrow was a good thing to do, and the madman actually did it. He first gained the king's trust, and then, just like nothing, stabbed him in the chest. Needless to say, he was quickly killed by the guards, and the outright nobility hastily go to murdering Anak's entire family, except his son, Gregory, who managed to flee and would later be known as Gregory the Illuminator. And if that's not one of the best nicknames you've ever had, you've not heard many. His life, though, that's for another time. Following the power vacuum that was caused by Khosrow's murder, and with the nobility in disarray, Shapur quickly conquered Armenia and all resistance was crushed. The neighboring realms of Lazica, Albania, and etc. became puppet states of the Sasanian Empire, and Rome would now be completely alone in the fight against the Sasanians for half a century, until Diocletian reformed the kingdom in 298. A certain Artavasdes IV is mentioned by the Historia Augusta as king during the whole period of occupation, but nothing else is known about him, so the person in question is more likely to be a made-up creation of the writer of the Historia Augusta rather than a real ruler. We don't know for sure that this conquest emboldened Shapur, whom, after 10 years of relative peace, decided to finally invade the Roman provinces of Syria and Mesopotamia, reconquered by Gordian Antimesitheus in 244. We'll see how this goes in the next video. Until then,